saying that illegal immigration should not be criminalized is a position, is it not?
It is. What I'd like to add is that everything that I wrote while I was an advocate, not a sitting judge.
Oh, I see. That makes a difference. Did you
I was-
mean it when you wrote it?
When I wrote it,
Did you mean it?
I meant it when I wrote it because
Okay, but you don't mean it now?
I do not mean it now.
So if you
Right
take
now.
off your advocate hat today, do you have your advocate hat on today?
I am no longer an advocate. I'm a sitting magistrate
Okay,
judge.
so you don't tell the truth when you're an advocate, but you do when you're not? Is it okay to lie if you're an advocate?
I don't follow the question.
I think it's pretty clear, and I think you follow it. You've taken a lot of radical positions, Judge, and you can't make this catwalk backwards. Now, you can't make this catwalk backwards.
Senator John Kennedy just walked into a Senate Judiciary confirmation hearing, armed to the teeth with published articles, podcast transcripts, and a level of patience that proved absolutely lethal for a federal judge nominee who thought his entire paper trail would stay buried forever. This nominee wrote that illegal immigrants who broke federal law deserve a free pass from prosecution, praised the post-George Floyd unrest as mostly peaceful protests, and flat out declared there can be no question that every police officer in America carries internal and external bias. When confronted with his exact words, the nominee tried to hide behind the shield of advocacy writing, only to admit he meant every single word at the time. The result, one of the most devastating, career-altering moments in recent Senate confirmation history. This wasn't just a hearing. This was a masterclass. This was a moment. And if you haven't seen it yet, buckle up, because you're about to get the full, no-holds-barred breakdown right here, right now.
Thank you.
Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge, congratulations. Judge Cheeks, I see you're quite a prolific writer, and you say I heard you answer Senator Durbin's question. You said you don't take a position in these articles?
I said I tried not to take a position in most of my articles.
Well, you didn't succeed. In October 2020, you published an article entitled, "I Can't Breathe." You remember that article?
I do remember that article.
Okay. You were talking about Mr. George Floyd's tragic death. Here's what you said, quote, your words, not mine, quote, "What happened next after Mr. Floyd's death is nothing short of amazing. Mostly peaceful protest broke out almost immediately in Minneapolis, and the use of excessive force by police officers became the villain in a sea of protesters," end quote. Did I read that accurately?
That sounds correct, yes, Senator.
All right, and then in October of 2019, you wrote an article entitled "Raising Responsibility: A Concerned Parent's Perspective." You remember that?
I do remember that, yes.
Did you take a position in that article?
I recall my position being talking about how am I going to address issues with my
So
children.
you did take positions, unlike what you told Senator Durbin.
What I told Senator Durbin that I try not to take positions.
Okay. Well, I want to read you from your article. Quote, your words, not mine. "Needless to say, I have a guarded opinion about the police. How do I teach my sons to respect them and fear them at the same time? There can be no question that police officers have some of these same internal or external biases." Let me repeat that. There can be no question that police officers, not some, all police officers have some of these same internal or external biases described above. Do some of them view black males differently than others? I think so. Sounds like a position to me. Do some think black males are more dangerous than others? I think so. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you read that correctly.
All right, now, and then in May of 2019, you remember writing an article for a publication, well, rather the title of the article, excuse me. The title of your article in which you say you didn't take a position was called The Federal Dungeon Part 2, Court Proceedings. You remember that?
I do.
Okay. And you were talking about, it was then under President Trump, not President Biden. The Department of Justice then had a zero tolerance for illegal entry into the United States, because that, of course, is the law. And this is what you said about that. Quote, technically the law was broken, but these particular defendants, poor, hungry, hardworking, and not dangerous, deserve a pass from prosecution. End quote. Saying that illegal immigration should not be criminalized is a position, is it not?
It is. What I'd like to add is that everything that I wrote while I was an advocate, not a sitting judge.
Oh, I see. That makes a difference. Did you
that was-
mean it when you wrote it?
When I wrote it,
Did you mean it?
I meant it when I wrote it because
Okay, but you don't mean it now?
I do not mean it now.
So if you
right
take
now.
off your advocate hat today, do you have your advocate hat on today?
I am no longer an advocate. I'm a sitting magistrate
Okay,
judge.
so so you don't tell the truth when you're an advocate, but you do when you're not? Is it okay to lie if you're an advocate?
I don't follow the question.
I think it's pretty clear, and I think you follow it. You've taken a lot of radical positions, Judge, and you can't make this catwalk backwards. Now, you can't make this catwalk backwards.
At the end of the day, what Senator John Kennedy delivered in that hearing room wasn't just another political clip. It was a masterclass in what Senate oversight is supposed to look like, what it's supposed to feel like, and what it's supposed to accomplish when a senator actually does the damn job. Here's the truth no spin can erase. Kennedy didn't fabricate a single word. He didn't twist a single sentence. He didn't take anything out of context. He simply walked in with the nominee's actual published writings, opened the pages, and read them aloud. That's it. That's all he did. And the results were devastating, not because Kennedy is some slick political performer, though he clearly is, but because the words themselves were indefensible. A nominee who writes that people who broke federal immigration law deserve a pass from prosecution is not writing as a neutral legal analyst. A nominee who declares there can be no question that every single police officer carries bias is not offering balanced legal commentary. A nominee who praises the chaos and destruction of the summer of 2020 as mostly peaceful is not providing an objective account of history. These are ideological positions, strong, clear ones, and the American people have every right to know if the person being considered for a lifetime federal appointment held them, and whether they still hold them today. Kennedy gave them that information clearly, directly, without apology. And when the nominee tried to retreat, tried to hide behind the convenient fiction that advocacy writing is somehow separate from genuine belief, Kennedy refused to let him escape that easily. His question was simple, and it was devastating. Did you mean it when you wrote it? Yes, but you don't mean it now. No. So, is it okay to lie when you're an advocate? That question deserves to echo in that chamber for a long, long time. Because if the answer is yes, if it's acceptable to say whatever is convenient in whatever role you're playing at the moment, then what does that say about the credibility of a lifetime federal judge? This wasn't theater. This was accountability. Straight fire. No mercy. No escape. Kennedy didn't raise his voice. He didn't pound the table. He just kept reading, kept asking, kept forcing the truth into the open. And that's why this moment hit so hard. It reminds us what real oversight looks like when a senator actually shows up prepared. If you love these no-spin breakdowns of Senate hearings where smug nominees get dismantled by their own words, hit subscribe right now. We've got more coming. What do you think? Did Kennedy just deliver the most lethal confirmation grilling in years? Drop your take in the comments below. Smash that like if you're tired of paper trail denials and advocacy excuses. Let's keep the truth front and center.